Hello everyone. Thinkcloudly welcomes to our DevOps webinar, where we embark on a journey of efficiency, collaboration, and innovation in the IT landscape. So I'm Deeksha, host of today's session, and also my friend Naman is also here. So I would like to express my views on today's webinar that the world of technology is evolving at a rapid pace. And the past few years have introduced a new shift in digital transformation and software development. The traditional business model is no longer viable. And to remain relevant in the extremely competitive business landscape, organizations needs DevOps. And to be honest, as more and more companies explore what it makes to implement DevOps practices, the need for highly qualified DevOps engineer has soared. In fact, DevOps engineers are among the most sought after professions in the IT industry today. So what's your views on this, Naman?
No, I absolutely agree that DevOps has actually changed the style of working. If you look at the total or overall IT, or you can see any software deployment projects which are going on in the world right now, DevOps has become the important part of everything.
Yeah, exactly. So today we explore the dynamic realm of DevOps where development and operations converts to streamlined process, accelerate delivery, and enhance product quality. So throughout the webinar, you'll have the opportunity to hear from our industry experts, gain new perspectives to ensure that you'll have this webinar with a deeper understanding. And also, I encourage you to actively participate, ask questions, and feel free to drop your queries. So I know that already a lot of people are already here in this session who are aware that what is Think Loudly about. And also I would like to clear with the agenda today. So first, we're going to let you know about that what is Think Loudly basically about, a quick introduction about us. Then we're going to introduce our guest. And after that, we'll be having a webinar offer in which we have came up with really good offers for our audience today. Then my co-host Naman Jain is going to share his valuable information based on the DevOps. And then we're going to have the course time. And that also we are having exciting offers for our audience today. And at last, we're going to have the Q&A session.
Okay, thanks a lot everyone for joining. This is Naman. I'm sorry I couldn't introduce myself. I didn't want to disturb Diksha, to start this session. So how's everyone doing? So before we actually get started, Diksha, let's just see, I think the audience has to warm up a bit, isn't it? So
For sure, definitely. Why
let's
not?
see how active they are, because we need everyone to be with us right now at this moment, because the session what we are going to drive today has a very important message for everyone. Probably you might have attended some training in the past on DevOps, or maybe on cloud, or maybe on different IT technology, but it is quite important that you understand why we need DevOps and how can we master DevOps. What sort of tools we need to master, because there are 500 tools available in the market. I always tell this to so many people that there are 500 tools in the market when you look at DevOps. But do I need to master all of them? Or should I master only those which are going to help me to get that job? Right? So all these clarity, you are going to get this clarity with the help of this session, why we are here. So how many of you are ready to jump into the session and get started with something what we actually are here to learn? How many of you are here to learn something new?
Yes, everyone, please let us know in the chat box. We also
Use
want
the
to see
chat
that
box.
how much
Yeah.
enthusiastic people are today.
Exactly. How many people are ready for today's session before we actually step into the next part of it? No one or everyone? Okay, I see. Let's go. Okay, great. So, no worries. So let's get started with the session. So again, as usual, we have a tradition, Diksha, at Think Loudly. We do not start with the session without a game, right? So today as well, we have a game. I am going to read the question, or I'm going to basically, going to read the question and everyone has to guess. Okay. People who have been into a DevOps world or people who have not been in DevOps world ever, you guys still can talk about it, can guess. Okay. So can we get started, Diksha?
Oh, sure, definitely. So today again, we came up with some interesting riddles. So without a further ado, let's start. So we have
Okay.
a first question now.
Yes. So I am a bridge between development and operations. Without me, there might be a chaotic situation. I automate tasks, I streamline the flow. In the world of DevOps, I am the star of the show. So, guys, it's a bridge between development and operations. Okay. Uh, it automates the task and streamline the flow. So, what is it? Can anyone guess? Like, what is it? Which tool we are talking about over here? Or if it is not the tool, it is okay. Let me give you a hint. It's not the tool. It's a process. It's a process which is one of the most popular process.
Okay, so we can
Anyone?
see the chat box. A lot of people are answering CI/CD,
Okay.
Jenkins, DevOps.
Okay, it's a CI/CD pipeline. Okay, so the people who answered CI/CD pipeline, thank you so much, everyone. You are right. It's a CI/CD pipeline. So can anyone tell me what CI/CD stands for? Do you guys know what CI/CD stands for? Diksha, do you know what CI/CD stands for?
Well, really sorry, I don't know, but I guess our audience can answer that better.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's see who answers this. Anyone? Yes, it's continuous integration and continuous deployment, or you can say continuous delivery. Okay, so D is something which is still not decided by the whole world. It can be delivery or it can be deployment. So you guys are right. Okay, so continuous integration and continuous delivery is one of the important thing of DevOps. If someone talks about DevOps, CI/CD is the first thing that you need to know about. Okay. Okay, the next one. Are you ready, guys? Can we get started with the next one, please? Are you there, everyone? Are you guys ready for the next one? So I'm like a conductor in an orchestra, coordinating different instruments. I manage configurations and ensure everything aligns without any instance. Anyone, anyone, guys, like, can anyone answer? I am like a conductor in an orchestra or coordinating the different instruments. I manage configurations and ensure everything aligns without any instance. So I think there is one word of this tool is already there in this, in this riddle. That is anyone? No one?
So we have got only one. Okay, so there are only three guesses.
Okay.
People. So any other guesses, anyone?
So guys, it's a automation. It's again an automation. Whenever we talk about DevOps, it's all about automation, right? But there is something else. Like, what do you think? Okay. So it's configuration management tool. Okay. So configuration management tool, like your Ansible, right? So you basically manage all the configurations. Now there are hundred and thousands of servers in a real world, right? And when there are so many servers, hundred and thousand servers, you need to manage the configuration of all those servers automatically. How are you going to do it? For an engineer, it's a nightmare if he do it, if he does it like manually one by one, it's a nightmare for him. But there are tools like Ansible, right? Puppet. Those tools are actually helping in configuration management tool. Okay. So that's why it says that it's a conductor in an orchestra. Okay. Because it's at a central position, you manage everything, right? And coordinating different instruments and manage the configuration. So this is the trick over here. Okay, the next one, everyone. I'm like a guardian at the gate, ensuring security remains tight. I manage access control and keeping the threats out of sight. Anyone, guys? Anyone? What do you think? Like, I'm like a guardian at the gate. Okay, ensuring security remains tight. I manage access control, keeping threats out of sight. Okay, so it's access control tool itself. You can say access control tool as IAM. Okay. So it can be, it can be IAM. You know that in AWS, you might be learning IAM, right? How many of you have ever gone through an IAM, identity and access management? Did anyone go through? I think Oma has gone through the complete course, so she knows. I am very sure. What about others? Okay, so you know that identity and access management, not just the authentication, but also the authorization. So there's a difference between authentication and authorization, right? So if you are trying to secure the environment, you know, IAM becomes the first gate of the security. Okay. So this is a very, very popular question in all the interviews. You know, if you step into the interview, they can ask you, how do you protect your cloud, from the users? When it comes to users, when it comes to applications, you always talk about IAM and the concepts which lie under IAM. Okay. The next thing, I am a container for your code, lightweight and ready to take flight. I'm a container for your code, lightweight and ready to take flight. I think it's quite easy for everyone, right? At least for the people who have gone through it. I am a container for your code, lightweight and ready to take flight. So yes, it's a Docker, guys. It's a Docker container where you can keep the code inside the Docker container, and you can just pick it up and put it anywhere. Put it anywhere and it starts running. Definitely, when we talk about Docker and container again, I'm sure that you guys will learn more. And anyone who wants to attend a Docker session with me, do let me know. I love Docker concept. I love Docker concept. So you guys can anytime you can get in touch and let's study together Docker container. It's a very wonderful concept. What has transformed the market, in a different way. So today, if you see that we are using Docker and container, or I don't see a place where we are not using Docker container. It's everywhere. Okay. Over to you, Diksha. I think we all are warmed up. So guys, are you all warmed up now? Are you guys ready? Are you guys here? I think this game actually makes us be present in the session, isn't it, everyone? I think this actually energizes us to be ready for the next steps, right? Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, even I agree with you. Now I can see that a lot of people are showing enthusiasm in the chat box now. It
Guys,
feels
let me share one interesting fact. Uh, Diksha is someone who takes care of our sales part and hosting the sessions and everything. But just because of attending these kind of a webinar, she has started going for IT interviews. I'm kidding, guys. So Diksha, have you gone for any IT interview yet?
lol. Well, not yet, but I would love to.
Oh, Diksha also thinks that IT has money. Okay.
Exactly. I do
Oh
agree
no,
with that.
please, Diksha, don't do that. We at least need some people in sales.
Sure,
Okay.
definitely. Okay, so moving further, let's talk about the today's topic about the Think Loudly, that what we're basically about. So I must tell you the newcomers who have joined today in today's webinar session, to our new audience, that Think Loudly is a global e-learning platform where we help secure your journey to become certified IT and management professional, and reserving your spot for hyping opportunities. And we do provide more than 25 plus courses to our students, where we'll be helping them with the training with our highly specialized trainers who are having more than 11 to 15 years plus experience in IT. And we do have 140 plus tech and management experts, plus 75 plus team members in hiring. Also, we are also having 5,000 plus students over here who are taking the services from us for the different IT fields, and many of them have already achieved their path as well. And we do offer 35 plus practice live projects. Even we do have 3 to 4 students group batch, free workshops, one-on-one mentorship, interview preparations, and job assistance in IT. Okay, so now I'm truly honored to introduce our guest for today's webinar. Our guest, Paul, who's a true luminary in DevOps with a wealth of knowledge and experience. His impressive achievement and contribution to the field have earned him a well-deserved reputation. So we are fortunate to have him to share his insights and valuable perspectives. So everyone, please welcome Paul.
Hey, hi Paul. Are you here with us? Let me just see if I can unmute him.
Hi.
Hi, Paul. So,
Yeah,
Paul, welcome to this session as a guest. Congratulations for for securing a place in IT. Certainly, it is something what many of our students dreams about, and many of the students who have really gotten the space as well. So, first of all, congratulations and thank you for coming to this session. So, would you mind if you
yeah,
share your
thank you
journey
very much.
with all of us? Like, how was the journey and how did it go through?
Yeah, thank you very much, and I'm very honored to be here. Actually, my name is Paul, and I live in Dallas, Texas. So as a recent graduate of Thinkcloudly, actually the DevOps program has really been helpful to me, and it has really been an incredible experience for me so far. Actually, before joining Thinkcloudly, I happen to be an unfulfilled person as a salesperson. I lack the technical skills and the knowledge to pursue a career path, and it's not something that is really that I'm really happy about. So one fateful day, I was just going through my um, Facebook feeds, and then I came across these Facebook ads of the Think Cloudly DevOps webinar that's coming up. So I just give it a thought to join the webinar program, and on joining this webinar program, I came across Mr. Naman. Um, Through the webinar program, he was able to break down every complex concept, and um, from there I started visioning a clear career path for myself, and I was like, this piqued my interest into going further to enroll for the training program. So, and enrolling for this training program was the whole transformation for me. So during the classroom experience was really wonderful with all the instructors, and they just didn't focus on the theory aspect. They provided us with real world projects, and that are really practical in work scenarios. They are really practical experience, and this really helped me a lot.
So,
Actually,
uh,
my
so Paul, I'm sorry to cut you, but like how long did it take, to land your first job? I mean, I know that you come from a sales background, and I am sure that just like other students who have secured their job in the past, it took them some time. So like how many months or how many years did it take for you to get this first job? Because I know Dallas is an opportunity place, or it's like New York. So I know that being in Dallas or being in such cities, it becomes quite easy to find good jobs, right? It's quite easy if you are in Houston or if you are in places like which are very or becoming the IT hubs. So how long did it take for you to land your first job?
okay. Okay. It took a while actually, and it took like around about 6 to 7 months to
Okay.
land my first job. So, and I didn't see that as a challenge really, because to me it's like a process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a process. So it wasn't really actually I there was a feeling um that I felt bad along the process, but I didn't really take it as a challenge. So,
Okay.
and the end result of it was really wonderful, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, now you can at least work from home peacefully. You don't have to get up in the morning, leave the house at probably at 8 a.m. and then go for a regular job. I think That's wonderful.
Yeah,
That's wonderful. No, I mean,
yeah.
what I would like to say, Paul, that still stay connected with us. I know that, landing a job is not an easy thing, and you may need some extra or additional help from Thinkcloudly to survive in this job, right? So just let us know whatever help you need. Okay, we are always here. Yeah, and just to give everyone a background about Paul, when Paul actually joined us like close to 8 months ago, and he was actually one of the student who had no exposure of IT world, but it was just like the way we advertise sometimes on different platforms. He looked at our courses, then he asked for the suggestion. Then I suggested him to go for AWS followed by DevOps, so that eventually he's able to get into a place. But luckily, he took it very seriously. He went through the DevOps course, like Ansible, uh, Kubernetes, all the tools what you learn on the way. And finally, he did some projects with us before he landed into multiple rounds. So he was very well connected with me throughout the process. Was sharing his journey like whenever he was going into the interview. One of the best thing what happened with him that he got an opportunity to go for multiple interviews, and that is what is a learning for all of us over here, that you have to go for multiple interviews if you want to find that one job. Okay, so that is something what actually worked for him. So thank you so much, Paul, for coming today and sharing your information. Thank you so much. So everyone, can we congratulate Mr. Paul for yeah,
Thank you very much. I really appreciate
thank you.
the
Thank
invite.
you. Paul. Stay connected with us, please. Thank you so much, Paul. Appreciate it, man.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, can everyone who is in the audience today, can you guys please, yeah, at least we can acknowledge that he did it something what we are planning to do, right? So before we actually get into a next part of this session, may I know how many of you are in the different field, but you're still here to learn more about DevOps? How many of you are attending the program on cybersecurity or different programs over here? Except the DevOps one. Can everyone let me know in the chat box like how many of you are here, uh, you know, uh, and you are attending some different program with Thinkcloudly, but you are still here. Cybersecurity, Richard, someone who is here. Who else is here? Oma is here. Who else is here from a different you know from a different field? Okay, you did a Scrum Master, awesome. Anyone else, guys, who is not with us from a DevOps? Okay, Innocent did DevOps, yes. AWS, Prateek, SOC Analyst, KBS, you're right. Great. So guys who are here today, you might be having a question that when I am into cybersecurity, SOC analyst, when I'm into AWS, why am I here? Why admins have called us to be here? Can anyone tell me like why are we here today? See, we are here today because we want to understand not just our field. If you are from cybersecurity, we're not just here for only for cybersecurity. It's quite important for us that we understand to something what is going on in the industry, right? Uh, Industry respects people who get a 360 degree of knowledge. Getting a knowledge only into your department may not help. Sometimes you need to be aware of what's going on outside your network, outside your area, right? So that's why we actually wanted to have this workshop or webinar plan, so that everyone who comes from different streams, they can still participate and can learn something about DevOps. Okay, so over to you, Diksha.
Well, I heard a saying that opportunities don't happen, you create them. And I do believe that Paul has paved his way towards success. So once again, thank you so much, Paul. It was really inspiring and it was really appreciable for boosting up our audience. And thanks for your precious times. And once again, congratulations. Okay, so moving further,
Yeah, Diksha, just give me 1 second. Okay. So, Diksha, let me just pick it up the next part. Okay. So, guys, what do you understand by DevOps? Like, whosoever is here today, what do you understand by DevOps? Is anyone here who has heard about DevOps very first time? Is anyone here who has never heard about DevOps? Or you might have heard about DevOps, but you don't know. what is DevOps? Yes. Okay. So I at least see that Julius is there, like who is coming and attending this session very first time. Okay. So guys, DevOps is actually something, which is like a lot of people will say that we can divide this word dev and ops separately. Okay. So this is development and operations, right? So DevOps word actually made up of, you know, two words. It is development and operations. Okay. So what happened, right? That there are a lot of operations, which operation works, which happens in IT. Okay. So when I say operations work is like, uh, I'll give you like close to 5 servers, and you have to install a software on all the 5 servers. So installing the software is a operation work. Am I right, everyone? Because this will be done manually one by one, and it is part of operation activity. So this is a use case one. Okay. Second use case. If I ask you that, hey, this is my code files, and you have to copy these code files into multiple servers. So you have to go over here on this server, you have to go on a second server, and you have to go on third server, and manually you are copying these code files, okay, one by one, and pasting in these servers. So do you think it's an operation activity? How many of you agree with me that these two are operations activity? Installation of softwares and copying and pasting the code files is also an operation activity. How many of you think it's an operation activity, everyone? Is it an operation activity or not? Yes. So always remember, guys, that when you look at IT, right? IT is basically divided into two parts. Okay. One is the development part. Okay. And other is the operations part. So when we say that development part, what is this development part? See, whenever any application is created in this world, right? Let's say Netflix, let's say Facebook, all these other applications, when these being created, that activity is known as development. When anything is being created in IT, that is development. Okay. So any application do you use in your day-to-day life? Can you give me example? Can I say that WhatsApp is an application? Any can you guys give me any example of the applications do you use in your day-to-day life? LinkedIn, yes. What else? Which other application do you use? Facebook, yes. Twitter, correct. So all these are the applications what you use. PayPal, right? Netflix, all these applications, Instagram, all these applications, when these applications are being created, that is the development activity. Okay. And when you do all the other activities in IT, that is the operations activity, such as installation of the server, installation of the application, or copying and pasting, or probably fixing an issue, right? If your laptop is not working, that is also an operations that you have to fix it, right? So how many of you understand the difference between development and operations activity of IT? Does everyone understand the difference of development and operations activity of IT? Can I proceed further with the next thing? I need the high engagement, everyone, because otherwise I cannot move forward. So please help me, yes or no. Okay. Now, when you look at the development and operations activity, I tell you what happened. The development activity is total writing the code. Whenever you have to create any application or any software developers are hired to write the code. They have to literally do coding or programming to create the application. So let's say if WhatsApp introduces a new feature. Let's say WhatsApp introduces a feature of status, WhatsApp status, right? So developers have written this piece of code to introduce this piece of feature to the public. That is the development activity. Okay. So development is whenever an application or a new feature is added to the application, development is done. Development activity is done. But all the rest of activities, whatever is being done that comes under operations, such as installation, such as copying, pasting, such as introducing IAM, okay, uh, security, everything comes under operations. So IT from a work wise is divided into two parts, development and operations. Now, what happened, operation task actually became a lot. It was not quite easy. If I tell you about my own story, I was working for outlook.com, you know, and when I was working for outlook.com, what happened that at that time we were having close to 80,000 servers. And my manager said, install a software on these 80,000 servers manually one by one. Do you think it's a very big task for me or for my team? Because I have to install that one software on 80,000 servers. So what do you think? Is it a big task for me or not? Yes or no? It's a very big task, right? Because I have to go one by one. I'm talking about a scenario which happened with me 8 years ago. Because I have to go on every server and install that particular software one by one. For me, as an operation, it was a very, very big task, very, very hectic task for my team and me, because we were a team of 5 people, 6 people, and it would have taken ages to do it, right? So what happened that industry started feeling that operation work is getting heavier day by day. It is not quite easy to do operations. Even if you hire 100 people, still your operation works is big. And it's not, there's one problem is that operation work is increasing. That is one problem. And another problem is that it is full of errors because human make errors. If I am installing a software, if I skip a task or a step, that can result in the error and I will waste a lot of time, right? So we saw not just me, but the entire industry, entire IT industry saw two challenges. Number one, that there are number of tasks which are increasing in operations day by day because we are moving towards the future. We are getting the heavier applications, newer features. So we are getting into a trouble of operations overhead. And because operations are manual, it was full of errors. And errors resulted in a lot of waste of time because we have to fix them, right? So how many of you understand the two problems of operations? How many of you understands the two problem? Can you guys let me know what are the two main problems in operations today? What are the two main problems, everyone? Increasing operations activities and the number of errors, which is creating the lot of uh, a lot of fixings, a lot of time waste. It is giving us a lot of issues. Now that's when the DevOps was introduced. What happens that the problem was lying with the problem was in operations and development was having the answer to it. They were there were new tools which were introduced in the market, which were automation tools. These were the automation tools which were introduced to the market because every organization was facing the same challenge and automation tools were introduced, and those automation tools started coming under DevOps tools to solve those two problems, increasing the operational activities and human errors. To solve these two problems, DevOps tools were being introduced. So There was a tool which was introduced, that is Jenkins. Another tool was introduced like Ansible. Another tool was introduced like Docker. Another tool was introduced like Kubernetes. Because these tools were introduced, we started seeing that the operations activities started decreasing. And because it was done by the machine, the errors were zero. We have faced the scenario that errors were zero. So if the errors are zero and the operations activities have been decreased just by one tool, it was actually a very, very important thing for organization, right? And when these tools were introduced in different organization, the need of DevOps engineer actually it actually became higher. So do you all understand why DevOps tools were introduced in IT? Does everyone understand? Are you liking the session till here, everyone? I mean, do you have any feedback for me? Am I going too fast or too slow? I know that many of you are attending this session probably first time, but I'm just trying to keep this session like slow so that people who are listening to me very first time, they can also understand. The only thing what we are basically, what we basically understood, that DevOps actually became the need of the hour because because we were tired. Honestly, I know about myself, I know about my team. I have many friends who worked in IT and they were tired, like spending 18 hours. And when I used to ask, like, what are you doing for 18 hours in the office? They used to say, oh, we are just installing the software in those 10,000 servers. And it was a daily thing. It was a daily stress. And it is not the daily stress. The organizations were also struggling with it. And when the DevOps were introduced, now when we were hiring 10 people to do that job, now we hire only one DevOps engineer. So to the organization, DevOps actually started becoming very important role. And that's when the entry of non-IT people were become very easy, because DevOps requirement got very important for all the organizations. So certainly DevOps career option is certainly high in demand, and it will be high in demand for next 10 years, I'm telling you. Because what DevOps has solved for the industry, for the IT industry, no other technology can do it, because this is a main area where IT was struggling. There are millions of job opportunities, certainly, because every organization, you cannot imagine a single organization in the world which does not have a DevOps engineer. Even at Thinkcloudly, we are a learning school. We still have a DevOps engineer in a house. So you can imagine that organizations which are having uh, applications, softwares, right? They need DevOps engineer. So you will find that DevOps engineers are there in every organization. I have seen DevOps engineers in Mercedes, Daimler. I have seen in Continental. I have seen in biscuit making companies or shoe making companies, right? What are they doing over there? Every organization has a small IT department, whether they do IT activities or not, but still they have a small IT department. Over there, you need at least one person with DevOps skills. That's why DevOps has millions of job opportunities. Certainly, competitive salaries are there. You know that anything what gets introduced in the market certainly comes with the price. And organizations, when they are seeing that DevOps engineer can solve a problem of $1 million, they are okay to give at least $120,000. That's a minimum wage, right? When you are solving a problem of millions of dollars, then I think this is a small price. Don't you think, everyone, that when you are solving $1 million problem, any organization can give you $100,000 easily, right? So that is what we are doing here. We need to upskill ourselves so that we become important for that organization, and they are ready to pay between $120,000 to $220,000. You know, salary always matters. For at a personal level, it matters. When you make a good amount of money, it really changes the life, right? Career growth potential. Um, I have many students. I have some students over here who have joined in the audience as well. I have some students who have joined here and they have recently secured a job, just like a Mr. Paul who got a job. So, what do you think that Paul or probably Emmanuel or maybe different people who actually have secured an IT job, will they stop learning? What do you think? People who have landed the job, will they stop learning? No, they cannot stop learning because they have to keep learning. They have to keep them up to date, you know. So career growth potential is certainly there because you are always learning. And at the same time, when you are solving $1 million problem for an organization, it means that you are gaining an experience and that experience is sellable in the market, right? So, what you are doing as a DevOps engineer, when you land your first job as a DevOps engineer, you are actually solving $1 million problem, okay? And while you are solving $1 million problem, you're gaining an experience, and that experience is actually opening multiple job opportunities for you in future because you are gaining the experience what is required in the industry. So what the main learning what I have always, right? I always, whenever I used to go to the interview, I always used to think that am I really solving a problem for an organization or not? If I have skills, organization will hire me. Ask yourself, everyone who is here today, ask yourself, do you have skills to solve a problem or not? If you have the skills, trust me, you will get the job. If you don't have the skills, I can't help you because you have to gain the skills. Okay. So just make sure that you have a skill to solve $1 million problem, and then you will basically, get into it. Uh, and some students may come and say that I see one comment in the chat box that market sucks. The market is not good, right? I agree with you that market is fluctuating, market has different problems. But imagine the other markets. Do you think that oil and gas is doing good? Do you think that healthcare is doing good? Do you think that construction is doing good? If IT is impacted, all the other markets are impacted. Trust me, it's a job market. It's not just the DevOps market. It's all the job market which is actually giving a hard time. Probably we are in the recession, or probably we are not in the recession. We don't know. But as an individual, market will always look like it's not doing its best. But you have to just make sure that you are upskilling yourself as much as you can. Okay. So can we go to the next slide, everyone? Are you ready? Can we go to the next slide, everyone? Okay, great. We need to understand the fundamentals. Whenever you are learning, I don't know how many of you wants to learn DevOps, but whosoever is learning DevOps, right? It's very important that you learn few things. That's the fundamentals, right? When it comes to fundamentals, right? Try to understand the software development as well. You don't have to take up the course to understand software development. Understand that how the softwares are being developed. So the best idea is there are plenty of programming languages available like Python, okay, JavaScript. Can you if you know any of the programming language, can you tell me like Python, JavaScript? Is there any other programming language that you're aware of? PHP, correct? Java, yes. What else? C++, Go, Bash, .NET. All these are the programming languages. Trust me, all these programming languages, they do the same job. They are being used for making applications. So you just have to master one of them. If you can master one of them, it's good. If you cannot, that's totally okay. There's no rush that you need to know the programming language. Trust me, people have proven us. They never had any experience and exposure of a software development world, but still they were able to make into DevOps field. Okay. So that's quite okay. So you need to be aware of Python, JavaScript, PHP if you get some time. So you can go for it. But yes, Python is something which we highly recommend to everyone. If in case you are planning to go for a course in the future, then choose Python, because Python works with DevOps. Python works with cybersecurity as well. Okay. And Python has its acceptance in AI world as well. So Python is becoming one of the main language today, which is actually giving opportunities a lot. So make sure that you are upskilling yourself if you choose Python. But honestly, if you don't know Python, still you can find the job as DevOps engineer. Okay. Software development life cycle, you need to understand how the software development life cycle actually goes. Okay. That what are the ways that it goes into a testing stage, it goes into a maintenance stage, so software development life cycle. How many of you are aware of software development life cycle? Do we have people over here who understand software development life cycle? Okay. So basically, whenever we look at the software development life cycle, right, this is how the stages are designed. The first one is always like you do a requirement gathering. You need to understand the requirement very clearly. If you are able to understand the requirement, right, then only you can start working on something. Okay. Second is the design, that you need to design. You need to make sure that you know what are you going to do. So make sure that you properly step down everything and design everything so that you can start working on it. Third is implementation, that you have to write the code. Okay. Whenever you are typing the code, you have to do the implementation. And the final one is the testing. And then the last step is also there, which is deployment. Okay. So this is the software development life cycle. It starts with requirement gathering, it goes to design, implementation, testing, and deployment. Okay. It's quite a process. It's not something that you need to be worried about a lot. It's just a process. Okay. Whenever you can imagine that a building, you are constructing a building, right? They also follow the same life cycle. They first gather the requirement from the client. How many rooms have to be constructed? What's the area? What are the amenities they are expecting? So after the requirement, architect start designing, the plan and everything, right? And then you start implementing brick by brick. You start implementing it, and then you test whether it's a good house or not. And then you go live. You hand it over to the customer, right? So software development life cycle is exactly the same cycle. What actually, is a similar cycle, just like we see in the construction world as well. Yeah. Now there's third requirement which you need to understand as a DevOps engineer, basic network fundamentals. This is good for cybersecurity people as well, that you are aware of network fundamentals. Now, some of the network fundamentals is that, are you aware of protocols or not? How many of you have heard a word protocol in IT? How many of you have heard about protocol, right? So are you aware of protocols or not? That's very important. Are you aware of firewalls or not? Okay. Are you aware of port numbers or not? Right. So these are some of the network fundamentals you must be aware of, that how the network is being configured, what is LAN, WAN, MAN, all these things, the small things you need to be aware of when you are basically getting into a world of DevOps. Because what happens that when you see that there are 10,000 servers which are connected together, right? There is a network which is being created. And when the network is being created, it is connecting all the servers together. So having a network fundamentals adds to your knowledge. So you can go some resources available online, or you can reach out to us. We can provide you some resources. So you are aware of these terminologies, protocol, firewalls, port numbers, and other things like, right? So it's quite important that you're aware of these things, basics of network fundamentals. Plus, we have the Linux. Linux is something which we consider very important. Can you guys tell me, like, uh, Linux? What is Linux? According to you, what is Linux? Can anyone tell me? Anyone who knows about Linux? It's a machine? No. Linux, yes, it's an operating system. Right. It's an operating system. You're absolutely right. It's an operating system. Okay. And what is Windows? Have you heard about Windows or Mac? these are also operating systems. Okay, Windows is also an operating system. Mac is also an operating system. Linux is also an operating system. So when we have Linux, Windows, Mac, so why do we need to learn Linux only when it comes to DevOps? Is it an interesting question or not? That when Mac is also an operating system, Windows is also an operating system, Linux is also an operating system. So when we are learning DevOps, why are we considering only Linux, not the other operating systems? Anyone ever give a, have you ever given a thought about it, that why other operating systems are not popular when it comes to DevOps or probably cybersecurity? How many of you who are here know about Kali Linux? Have you ever heard about Kali Linux? Right? So when we talk about Kali Linux, why don't we talk about Kali Windows? Right? We have not even heard about it. So why only Linux? See, Linux actually come as a very lightweight operating system. It is considered to be a lightweight operating system. Windows comes with all these things, right? It has buttons, it has a lot of icons, images, everything so beautiful. Because Windows was made for humans. Okay. MacBook was made for humans, or you can say for rich humans. Right? Okay. But Linux was actually made for machines. That's why you see that black window with no decorations, with nothing, right? So Linux was actually made for machines, for servers, so that when your server is running, and the application is running in the on the server, and the operating system is Linux, then this application doesn't see a lot of issues. Whereas in MacBook and in Windows, because these are made for humans, the other problems can arise. That's why to keep your applications secure, to keep your software secure, or not security, it's not about security, it's about to make sure that everything runs well for a long time. That is why we choose Linux, because Linux was made only for machines, because you can host your applications, you can host your servers. So that is why we use Linux. Coming to the security part, Linux is secure, Windows is secure, Mac is secure. All the operating systems, which are enterprise operating systems, are secure. So it's not about security. It's about why those operating systems were made. Does that make sense, everyone? That why we have to learn Linux operating system instead of Windows or MacBook or other operating system? Is it clear, everyone? No? Okay. And only 2 or 3 people are answering. What about others? Yeah. Okay. Now there are skills what we have to master when we talk about the uh, DevOps, right? I know that many of you are going to learn DevOps in future, or you are learning DevOps already. Make sure that you master at least one scripting language, that is Linux, shell script or bash script. It doesn't matter. Okay. So mastering Linux is very important. I have my own series on Linux. KB was actually attending that. Other people have also gone through it. If you need my own series on Linux, I have it. You can drop your email address, and we can send you the Linux series on your portal. So if you want my series on Linux, you can attend. It's just a 7 videos what you have to watch, and it will give you an overall idea about Linux. So whosoever is interested in my series of Linux, just drop your email so that we can send it to you. Okay. Then also make sure that you master Git and GitHub. Okay. When you master Git and GitHub, see what happens, that all the tools what you master in DevOps, right? Like Jenkins, Kubernetes, Docker, all these tools actually comes with its own programming language, or you can say own scripting language. Jenkins has Groovy. Okay. Kubernetes has YML. Docker container has its Docker file. right? All these other scripting languages, what I'm talking about. So when you are writing these code, this code actually gets stored in the Git version control. That is why it is quite important that you master GitHub. Because if you master Git or GitHub, right, you will be able to store these code. That's why learning one version control, GitHub, GitLab, at least one version control is quite important. So make sure that whosoever is learning DevOps, make sure that you at least know Linux. You can refer my own videos. I promise you will have a very good understanding on Linux. That's my promise to all of you. Okay. And second, you can master GitHub. When you master GitHub, right, you will know how to store code, how to take out the code. It's quite important. So we'll be providing you, like whosoever is attending the DevOps course with us, you will certainly learn about Git or GitHub. And yes, knowing AWS and Azure, either AWS or Azure is also very important. See, guys, I know that people who step into DevOps world, that's quite okay. That's okay. That's not a problem. But if you are able to learn one cloud or AWS or Azure, that's going to be very good. That's why we recommend people who are coming with zero background of IT. Okay. People who are coming with zero background of IT, start with AWS. Okay. And then go towards DevOps. So the benefit would be that you are well aware of IT infrastructure, and then you are learning automation on IT infrastructure. So that actually makes sense. So how many of you are attending AWS right now with us? Do we have anyone here who is attending AWS in the audience? So make sure, guys, that you are going ahead with DevOps, because combining AWS and DevOps would be the best thing. Okay. So in future, if you have a plan to learn, make sure that you're going ahead and learning DevOps, because that is going to be helpful. And people who have started with DevOps, do we have anyone here who attended the DevOps first? So whosoever is here for DevOps, make sure that you gather some information on AWS as well, because that actually helps you to have a background about cloud. And then I don't think so that anyone can stop you. So when I was talking about Mr. Paul, I told you that Mr. Paul went for AWS first. After that, he asked me like, what should I do next? I said, do DevOps. Then after that, he asked me like, now, and what should I do next? I said, go for projects, learn these tools in depth with the help of projects. And when he went into the market, it took him like 3 to 4 months in total, because he spent 3 to 4 months in attending all these. And then he spent 3 to 4 months and then he landed his job. So from a sales job, today he is working in IT, probably making $150,000, where in sales probably he was making like $70,000 or $75,000. Now he has basically moved into a six figure. So he is responsible because he followed a roadmap which helped him a lot. Okay, so it's not, people who are learning cybersecurity, uh, uh, it's not that only DevOps has a lot of jobs. Cybersecurity or other fields also have a lot of jobs. I'm just giving a roadmap to students who are learning AWS or Azure right now. Okay. Okay. So now this is certainly a roadmap for everyone. Go through the project as much as you can. So you know that at Thinkcloudly, we have a lot of projects, what we are doing. Many of you have already started going through the projects. So make sure that you gain that practical idea and practice that as much as you can. Okay. Start getting yourself into networking. This is something what we always tell to our students, that go and do networking as much as you can, because networking can help you to find your first job. I met one student a day before yesterday. So he said, Naman, I'm going into one interview, and I got this interview call just because of one of my friend is working in that organization. He referred me, and now I got this call. So it becomes quite easy if you have good friends. So people who have friends in IT, make sure you are becoming their best friends. Okay. Or make sure that you are in good touch with all of them. Get yourself certified. Okay. People who are attending AWS, make sure that you have at least AWS solution architect. Okay. And people who are attending DevOps, make sure that you go for Terraform and Kubernetes. You can also approach us for help you need. We can help you with Terraform and Kubernetes or AWS Solution Architect exams, and then get into the job market, apply at least 20 to 30 jobs every day. Okay, break the internet by applying more and more jobs, and then see the results. It would work. Some of the students, they have a question that, Naman, I see that job requires 5 years of experience, or job requires 3 years of experience, or job requires 8 years of experience, and my resume says only 3 years. How do I apply for a job which is 5 years or 8 years? That question I come across a lot. Make guys, don't worry about it, just keep applying. Make sure that those roles you are aware of, keep applying. You never know if recruiter may hire you. Okay, so do not look at how many years it requires. Make sure you apply for it, and let's just go and experience the interview, because interview process, having an experience with interview process is also very helpful. Okay, so this is something what I actually wanted to share with all of you. Some of the tools which are important out of all the 500 tools, make sure you master Maven, Terraform, Docker, Jenkins. These are the 4 tools. Then Ansible, Git, Terraform, and Linux. Okay, so these are the 8 tools what industry expect you to have. Okay, let me repeat: Maven, Docker, Terraform, and Jenkins. These are the 4 tools what you have to master. After that, Ansible, Git, Terraform, and Linux. These are another 4 tools what all of you have to master. Okay. When you look at the stats of the market, right? See, market is basically increasing. Uh, if you see that by it's going to be a very big market, like 35 billion only in if we talk about US, right? It's going to be $35 billion market only in US by 2030. Every year. I mean, it's an annual figure that it's going to be a very big market. And according to report by Grand View Research, the global DevOps market size was valued in 2020 and is expected to increase, by annual compound growth 20%. And this growth reflects the increasing adoption of DevOps practices across industries. So you can see, no matter if you're working in shoemaking company, or if you're making in health, if you're working in healthcare, every organization is having an IT department, and it has the opportunity for DevOps, and everyone is adopting DevOps in numbers, and that's why you see 20% growth, year by year. These are some of the key statistics that by 2025, over 85% of organizations are expected to adopt cloud computing strategy, aligning closely with integration of DevOps practices. Right now, what's happening that after COVID-19, the adoption of cloud and DevOps increased. So by 2025, 85% of the organizations are going to adopt cloud and integration of DevOps practices. Okay. Gartner projects 95% of digital workloads being anticipated to occur on cloud platforms by 2025. You can imagine that 95% of the projects, as per Gartner's report, Gartner is a very good statistic, kind of a survey organization which gives a lot of reports. So 95% of the digital workloads, when we say workloads, is the application is going to move on the cloud. Okay, and making a significant increase in jobs from 2023. That's why in 2024, we see a high growth in DevOps jobs or AWS jobs or Azure jobs. Okay. The demand for DevOps professional is soaring with a projected 58% increase from 2017 to 2023. So the job market is growing slowly, or you can say fast, year by year. Okay. And this statistics underscore DevOps as one of the most in-demand competency in the technology sector. So all these lines, what you're reading right now over here, we have picked it up directly from the reports what have been published on the internet, and these reports actually says the truth that if you see the demand where the market is going, that is, I mean, DevOps is one of the most high in demand competency in the technology sector right now. Okay, over to you, Diksha. So I'm done, guys. I hope all of you enjoyed the session. I hope you actually learned something. Was it helpful, everyone? Like whosoever could able to attend till here. Okay, great. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much, Naman, for sharing such knowledgeable facts. Okay, so moving further, so we would like to tell you about the policy of Thinkcloudly. So the thing is that whosoever who's enrolled with us or the one who's not enrolled, if you refer someone who's interested to enroll in one of our courses or interested to enroll in one of our package, so if you refer someone and that person gets enrolled with us, so that individual will be getting $100 as a cashback. So the more people you'll refer for each and every individual, you'll be getting the $100 cashback for each and every enrollment. So anyone who's interested, or any of your friend or anyone who's interested to enroll in one of our courses, any friend, your relative, so you can let us know, you can provide their information so that our team can talk regarding the courses with them, and you can earn $100 as a cashback. Okay, so now moving further, now we have came upon with our quiz session. All right, so now we have got our top 3 winners for today's quiz. So the first one is Emmanuel, second one is Emmanuel Yu, and the third one we have got Devil. So congratulations to all 3 winners for today's quiz. So everyone, please congratulate them in the chat box. So the top 3 winners, you'll be getting a call in 1 or 2 working days from our consultants, and you can avail this offer. So congratulations once again.
Yeah, congratulations, Emmanuel, Dhaval, and other people. Yeah, and make sure, guys, that you're able to get your certificate of participation. Whosoever has joined today and want to go for the certificate of participation, make sure that you are dropping your details so that we can send you the certificate of participation.
All right, so thank you so much everyone for joining. I hope you got a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, facts today in this webinar, and you really learned a lot of new things as well. And thank you so much for participating and showing a great enthusiasm today in the webinar. And we expect a lot from you. So please be connected with Thinkcloudly. All right, thank you everyone.
Thank you for watching. Switch from non-IT to IT today. Explore www.thinkcloudly.com.